Today I'm going to be installing a smart door lock by UYF. They sent me this to review. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get all of my old hardware off the door. All right, we've got everything out of the way, ready for the new smart lock. This door could use some paint, but we're planning to paint the house later. So I'm not going to do that now. We'll just deal with that when we need to. So on this new one here, there's a slight difference. You can see on the bottom here, we've got a pin that we're going to need to go through the door. So it comes with a template here. And what you do is you basically line this template edge up with the side of the door. And then on the other side, you'll notice here, there's a hole, that perforated edge there. You want to line that up completely with the hole that you already have, or you're going to need to drill one. And I'm going to tape it in place. All right, now that we have our template in place, you can see that the hole is actually not going to line up. And that's because this piece is actually adjustable, which is quite nice. So you've got quite a bit of play there on drilling that hole. It can go up or down. So well, we're going to go ahead and just drill it right there. And it says to make a 3/8 hole. All right, we got a 3/8 inch drill bit here. We're just going to go right through the paper. Perfect. Go ahead and just clean this up a little bit. Now this will work for two different drillings of doors. So you can adjust that back to meet the center of whichever hole that you have. And we're going to go ahead and peel off a little of this protective film here. It's going to be quite difficult to get that off once we put it inside and we don't have anything to grab onto. Get that off. And then this piece is just going to slide right in here with that stripe facing the correct direction. And screws to go in here. Love these little electric screwdrivers for small projects like these. Perfect. I had to take that off a little bit because I got some burrs from when I drilled the hole and it's not sitting flush. You just go along here and cut off any of these little pieces of metal that are causing this thing not to sit flush. So a better angle to show how this square shaft here has to go in through here. Now we can secure it from the other side. Now here's kind of an interesting part. It looks like this particular plate is going to get installed now. We may need the longer screws. No, we just need to push the lock forward a little bit. I may have to hold on to the lock from the other side so it stays in place and get this first screw in here. Come on. There we go. We got one of the screws in. Now I should be able to get the other one in. That's where these electric screwdrivers are really nice to have. Just gotta line it up. Now we're pulling the door towards us. And then our handle is then going to affix to this. Make sure it works. Looks like it does. Looks like we're also going to need a little touch-up paint on this one eventually. If you're going from round to square. I don't like to torque these down too much yet. And then we have one last connection, which should be this screw down here at the bottom hole, which should line up right with our handle. Come on. We gotta line this one up. There we go. All right, that's the regular latching part of the door done now. Looks like it's latching okay. We optionally have another plate there, but I think my plate is already the right color. And it looks like it's a good idea to go ahead and swap this out because this one looks a little nicer. We'll see if it fits. If not, we can probably just reuse it. Take these screws out here. All right. Looks like now we got to get our deadbolt in here, and it's conveniently labeled up there. It should just pop right in, just like that, and you want to make sure it's aligned in the middle. And then we've got a couple screws to drill in. Now sometimes if yours doesn't quite fit, you'll have to go in and make the hole a little bit bigger, or just shave something out a little bit. Looks like we're at a little bit of an angle. That kind of corrects itself here shortly. Looking good. All right, next up, we're gonna have to pass our lock through here with this spool facing up. Just go in. All right. And now we have a nice little thing there that says cable hole. That's very nice. The last one didn't have that. I had to fight with this thing. And we're gonna need a couple of the screws, which I left over here, and I need my screwdriver. All right, hopefully we picked the right size screws here. Looks like we did, otherwise they wouldn't have gone all the way in. Oh, we are on the home stretch now. This is level. Looks level. All right, when I get to this stage in the game, I like to make sure that the deadbolt is working before I finish up with anything else, so I'm gonna close it. Deadbolt seems to be aligned just fine, so we're gonna go ahead and mount our controller here on the back side. It's got a couple different screws. We can actually probably close the door now, give ourselves a little bit more space to work with. And let's align this level, give it a tighten. And we've got 3 screws that are going to go in, and I'm assuming we have to plug in this bracket, and there's also a switch here. We need to look and see what switch we're on, if we're on a left-hand or a right-hand door. That always trips me up on these things. It's this tiny little switch in here you have to do. All right, I think we're on the right setting for the door. Let's plug this cable in here. They can't give you too much, otherwise it won't fit. But this one looks like they actually gave you just about the right amount, so that you can squeeze that cable in there and still get these screws in place. And we've got to get the lock lined up. There we go. We should be in business. are in business. Last thing to do is program this thing and install the batteries. All right, I've got my batteries installed, and now we have a cover that goes over those batteries. That is very nice. Okay, I figured it out. I had to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now I should be able to set.
Press 1 to add a card. Press 2 to delete card.
Let's press 1 to add a.
Swipe your card. Input successful. Press 1 to add a card. Press 2 to delete card.
I'm gonna add another card.
Swipe your card. Input successful.
Pretty
Press
cool.
1 to add a card. Manage fingerprint. Press 5 to go. Press 1 to add a fingerprint. Press 2 to please press your finger on the sensor.
Ooh, where is the sensor? Is this the sensor here?
Press 1 to add a fingerprint. Press 2. Please press your finger on the sensor. Press 1 to add a fingerprint. Press 2 to delete fingerprint.
Okay, if you want to lock the door, you have to like touch and wake up the keypad, and you'll get some lights. Then you can hold this and lock it.
Locked.
And it says locked. And you can't get in the house. And then I'll put my passcode in. Okay, unlocked. Now we can go in. We can also lock the door with a key if the battery ever dies, or you forget it, or you just want to lock with a key. You can also unlock with a key, and you should be able to unlock with a card reader. It said it had fingerprints, but I think that was for a different model. It doesn't seem like this one actually has fingerprints. So yeah, pretty decent looking installation. I'll have to do some touch-up paint around the edges here, but it looks beautiful. Very well done. Usually these are better with lithium batteries if they're on an exterior door like this. But in my experience, the regular batteries can last a couple months as well. I'm not sure why this looks like, hold on. Aha, there we go. I was wondering why that was covering the UYF. It can't be, that's not a fingerprint there. But it looks much better now with that paper out of the way. Yeah, programming that thing was kind of annoying. That's like the worst part about it, but now that it's set up, shouldn't have to program it. You can add a bunch of different passcodes on it. You can give it to friends and family, or housekeepers or things like that. If it's a rental, you know, or Airbnb, that kind of thing, you can program new passcodes. You won't be able to manage them remotely. You have to do everything from the keypad, and you've got to remember the administrator access code. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit finicky. The other thing I noticed is, maybe it was with the paper on there. Definitely take the paper off before you program it. But we can get into the administrator.
Please input administrator's passcode.
We can,
Hash key to confirm.
yeah, let's get in there. So now we can manage all the passcodes.
Manage fingerprint. Press 5 to go settings. Or press start key.
You see, it says
Press 1 to add a fingerprint.
we can add fingerprints,
Please press your finger on the sensor.
but I don't see where is any sensor.
Press 1 to add a fingerprint. Press 2.
It just keeps doing that.
Press your finger on the sensor. Press 1 to add a
Yeah,
fingerprint.
yeah, it just keeps doing that, and then it like, I don't think this actually has a fingerprint. So I'm not sure why this thing is saying you can add that. That's the only real downside. I think it probably is just the logic in this thing is for a different model that has the fingerprint. It'll be interesting to see, you know, if they were able to correct that. But that's the only real negative feedback I have on this. Installation was easy. I love this like upgraded handle here. So yeah, if you're looking for a smart lock, it's got a pretty easy installation and low tech as far as no Wi-Fi, no app that you have to. Sometimes I don't really like apps to connect locks, but in this case, you know, I think actually what was tripping me up was having that little paper on there was hard to get this thing to register the right keypad inputs. But now it seems to be doing very well. Yeah, I'm getting in every time now. So I've got my passcode, got the lock working. That's a job well done.